Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Object 261. It's the Tier 10 Soviet SPG. It's located on the north spawn of Malinovka, and this one is under the command of Deathnub. Yes, you've just seen him in a T92 HMC getting his first mark of excellence, and now he's playing the Object 261, which is also very fun Arty to play. Game on! Well, the chassis of this vehicle actually comes from the IS-7, and because the IS-7, which was developed in 1947, actually was cancelled, they didn't put it into a major production run, they just built a few prototypes. The 261 never got designed, although it was I believe a blueprint, but it just never got put into production. Now this gun unusually has an 18cm howitzer rather than the standard 152 or the alternate 203mm howitzer. Rounds out on the Jaegeru, direct hit right on his front plate. You can see just to the left, just to the right of the gun, I should say. There's the mark where it actually landed. Now, you don't get a whole lot of ammunition with this Arty, only 20 rounds, and technically speaking, you're probably going to run out of ammunition if you're not careful with your shots. Now, there's one of the other Artys hitting that ground. Rounds out. Another direct hit, this time on the roof. Now, our fellow Arty in this game is a T92 HMC. So he's also got equally high damage, but he hasn't got so many shots available, or rather his fire rate is very, very slow by comparison. Oh, you can see that shell landed, cut a hole in the roof. Not a pen shot though, because the alpha for this Arty is 800. So in order for him to pen, well, it's 45mm of penetration. He's not likely to pen Jaegeru. Now, I think he wants a shot at that chieftain. Rounds out. When he gets 23 hit points of splash, he was just a little too late. The enemy Arty in this game is the Conqueror gun carriage and another Object 261. And our Viz 55's in a fair bit of trouble now because he's being attacked by multiple enemy tanks at the same time. And he's gone. Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult game. Okay, we're loaded. He's just lining up the shot. Viz 55 rounds out. And he splashes the CS63 and the Viz 55. Both tier 10s. Okay, that Viz 55 is going for the dip. Yep, it means that he can creep up on us in a ground depression. So we might want to consider moving and getting further to the west. He's lining up a shot on the chieftain again. Rounds out. Direct hit this time, and he splashed the Viz 55 at the same time. Now, if he can get his teammates to strike the T95, he might pick up some stun assists. Well, the T92 did it for us. Now, somebody asked me about why enemy tanks weren't stunning the tanks that she, or shooting the enemy tanks that she'd stunned. And the answer is actually marking a target. Funny it may seem, but if you mark a target and your teammates can see that target, they'll shoot at it, especially if it's stunned. And if you can stun an enemy tank directly in front of your tanks, then they'll go for it because they can see that he's isolated, or that he's immobilized, or that he's incapacitated, and then they'll shoot him, and then you'll pick up loads of stun assists. Rounds out the strip, and he gets the kill. So he's got his first kill of the game. Now that ST2's managed to go down into a dip where we can't see him. The CS63 is trying to use that rock to get shots a little closer, but he's actually going to be vulnerable to Arty fire from there. But this 55's made it to the wood, but that's as far as he goes because he's now dead as well, and that's the second kill for Deathnub. Now Deathnub's noticed a Viz 55 over there, and he's gone. In fact, that may have been the same Viz 55 he hit earlier in the game. I don't believe there was... Oh no, there was two Viz 55s. I'm wrong. Yeah, one came into the wood. That was the one he fired at first. And there was another one over the other side of the battlefield. Okay, so our guys are very close to the cap area. And that's put the enemy in a bit of a quandary, because now they have to go back to their own cap if they're going to stop the STB-1 and the Jaeger starting the cap up. So the reason why we're not seeing any enemy come down the hill is very probably because most of them are streaming down the other side of the hill at this moment, trying to get back to their cap in time. The Jaeger and the STB-1 are taking up positions so they can start capping. And there's nobody in sight up the hill. And yes, the CS63 that we formerly saw near our end of the map has now suddenly appeared at the other end, and so's the Chieftain. So exactly as I said, they went down the other side of the hill to try and get a reset. And the enemy Arty is actually focusing on the STB-1 at the moment. We're going for the Chieftain. Rams out. Direct hit and a wipeout. A third kill for Deathnub. So he's having a lot of luck. Another Viz 55's turned up. There was two. In fact, there was actually three on the enemy team. And the third one's actually turned up near to us. Two of them dead already. This one, well, he's about to suffer a hit. And this time round, Deathnub has marked the target before he shoots it. And just look at that. Stun assist comes in straight away because our teammates can see that this guy's disabled. And look at that, he's picking up masses of stun assist. Only because he targeted the target, told his teammates where it was, and then stunned it, and then they're all hitting it. And there's the kill. So you see, the trick is to mark your target before you hit it and after you hit it, so everyone can see, hit that target. Okay, the ST2's turned up. Let's see if you can get around into this one. Line him up. That looks good. Grabs out. Direct hit. Perfect. Anudes 1516 is turned up behind him. That's one's going to be a little more difficult to hit because he's actually now gone back into the ground depression. Easier for our guys near the cap area to actually hit that guy. The enemy CS63 is threatening our STB-1, but we've got another tank there now. Trying to get this ST2. Line him up. That looks good. Direct hit again. Perfect. That's the way to do it. And now the ST2 is in sight. And he's taking damage, so he's giving stun assist to Deathnub. Oh, and Deathnub's picking up loads of stun assist there, and there's the kill. So it all worked out very good there, and we're now 5 tanks up on the enemy. All because he stunned tanks that were in sight of our teammates, and they were able to get the kill shot. Now, the Leopard 1 should be the next one they focus on, because our batch at 25 tons coming up nearby. Well, we got some stun on him, and he went down, so the stun assist counts. So we're now up to 1.5k of actual damage and 3.5k of stun assist, and that's greatly going to help Deathnub to get a high mastery for the game. Okay, we're starting to cap. The CS63's gone down. There's only 3 enemies left. The Foshby, and there he is, and 2 Arty. Okay, go for it. Foshby. Rams out. Oh, that was cruel. It went long, but he still got the stun assist off it. Now it's just the 2 Arty, the Conqueror gun carriage, and the Object 261. The Conqueror's gone. The 261 must be further south because he was firing at the cap area. There he is. Okay, and he goes down before we can shoot. So 3 kills for Deathnub and a really good battle. Just under 4k of stun assist. Here's the end of battle results, and that was a first ace tanker for Deathnub in the Object 261. You can tell it's a first ace tanker because you got the scrolls underneath. You only get that the first time, and it shows up on the Salty Jedi website results or replays website, but it doesn't show up on What Replays. So if you put the replay up on What Replays, nobody will know that it was your first one unless you say it to them and tell them it was. But we can see that this was definitely the first one for Deathnub, and that makes the first ace tanker that he's had of a tier 10 Arty in this week. Very well done indeed. He got a Reaper medal because he actually took out 3 enemy vehicles with consecutive shots. Has also got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 10. And his win rate from that battle, 2,725, which is Super Unicum. Or is it Super Unicum? It's definitely Unicum level, I'd say. Yes, definitely Unicum level. But let's have a look at team score and see where he is. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to the Leopard 1 on our team with 5,432. So he was definitely using that 105mm gun to good effect. 4,131 hit points was the second highest damage, and that was an STB-1 on our team, and he got a Confederate. And the third highest damage in the game went to the Jaeger on our team with 3,600. Deathnub got 2,591, but for him, it was actually all about the stun assist in the end. He did get the highest number of kills, but he shared it with the Leopard 1 and the STB. They all got 3 kills each. 2 kills went to the Jaeger, and only 1 tank on the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill, and that was the Viz 55. And only 4 tanks actually managed to get kills on their team, so they had a very poor team in overall. But when it came to base XP, yes, he's actually in second place because the STB-1 did 1,052, probably because he was getting stun assist. Look at this. No, not stun assist, spotting assist. 5,366 hit points of spotting assist in that game. He also got that Confederate because it meant he was hitting a lot of the enemy. 8 and 1. So yes, he got a 7 difference there. So very good for him, and we can see that Deathnub got 8 and 3. It's the kills that let him down. He wouldn't get a Confederate medal unless he'd only got 1 kill, but he actually ended up with 3. Well, we won't turn those kills down because they're nice as they are, but the fact of the matter is that he would have had a medal but for the fact that he got the kills instead. 1,003 base experience points went to Deathnub. 965 went to the Leopard 1 and 939 to the other STB on the team. He fired 14 rounds, so he only had 6 rounds left at the end of the battle, but he got 9 direct hits on the enemy and 0 penetrations. Yet the penetration on this Arty is only 45mm, and if you're in a tier 10 game, that means it's going to be dreadfully difficult to penetrate the enemy, unless you can put the shells somewhere where it's going to be very weak, such as the roof of an enemy tank or an open-topped tank, such as a tank destroyer with open roof. 18 splashes on the enemy as well, so he splashed multiple tanks with some shots. 2,591 hit points of damage in total, and 2,583 of that was at more than 300 meters. I think the Viz 55 was the one that was really close. It was actually just at the other end of the wood, within 300 meters, but he smacked him in the face with an 18cm round, and he went out the game. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 3, so that's a 5 difference, missed out on the Confederate. 3,956 hit points of stun assist off 15 stuns, and you saw in that battle, as I pointed it out, he actually indicated the target so his teammates knew where the shell was going, and the moment the shell went in, his teammates started firing at that enemy tank because they knew he was weak, they knew he was disabled, he was an easy kill, and therefore he picked up masses of stun assist by letting his teammates know which tank to hit, and that works for me so often in getting ace tankers in Arty, simply because you let your teammates know what you're going to be aiming for next, and you also indicate the target after you've hit it whilst it's still stunned, and your enemies will just pile in and they'll shoot the enemy tank. You get all the stun assist, they get the kill, and you end up getting a Confederate medal and lots of ace tankers. Okay, so he cause 15 stuns. He earned 68,553 credits on the game, and after ammunition resupply took away 40,833 credits. 25 bonds for an achievement, 7 bonds because this was tier 10, 32 in total, 1,504 XP, and there's no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. So a very good ace tanker. Let's have a look at the armor for this vehicle. Yeah, it's designed on the heavy tank, but unfortunately it's not sporting heavy tank armor. You can see 75mm on the upper plate. Well, technically it's coming out at 128. Lower plate, it's a bit 65mm, a bit flatter, so therefore it's a little easier to pen. It's only got 88.1 or 88mm in total. The gun shield, because it's an open vehicle, is fairly weak. It's only 50mm on there. And you can see the sides of the vehicle again, 50mm, so only 62. At the rear, it's slightly less, 30mm, and so it's fairly easy to pen the rear of this one. I suppose you might get deflection if you hit the top there on the upper plate. If you hit just underneath the gun, the plate's only 20mm there, so you should be able to pen that if you're an Arty. And if you can get the shell near the rear, you'll obviously kill the crew. If we go to the live model, because I know some of you like to see that, you can see it's showing that it's fairly uniform all the way round. Remember, this is the hull of an IS-7 with a howitzer mounted on top of it, and you can see how weak the sides are in comparison to the other armor. So let's have a look at the modules. Okay, well, there's no driver up front. The driver is actually in the cab. He's actually sitting directly in front of the tank commander with the gunners on the left-hand side. The engine up front with the transmission in front, so it's front wheel drive sprocket. We've got the loaders, 2 of them, sitting at the rear, and they're shoveling shells in from the ammo racks, which are at the rear of the gun shield. So if you want to get an ammo rack in this one, you aim for the rear of the gun shield, just like you would on some of the other tanks that have got, I think it was at the SU-100Y. Yes, the box tank actually has ammo racks at the back of the compartment area, so that's where you aim for to get an ammo rack. Fuel tanks are on the inside of the hull, and they extend a fairly long way. You can see that they go quite a long way up, but it's a bit difficult to actually get a shell through there because it's spaced armor, I believe. If I go back to the model again, so you can see it, it's technically, yes, they're underneath, but is it spaced armor? Well, technically, yes, it is, because 20mm impacted armor and then another 50mm. So, yes, the tracks are acting as spaced armor on this one to stop you from getting to the fuel tanks. So, yes, a bit difficult to get them. Yeah, another thing actually about this vehicle, which I didn't mention during the battle, is you've only got 5 degrees either side. And that narrows your field of fire to only 10 degrees in total. And that means your vehicle has to quickly turn to re-aim the gun on a target, especially if that target's moving quickly past you. And that makes also difficult trying to kill an enemy tank that gets too close, a light tank or whatever. You're going to have to spin your vehicle as quickly as you can. You can't rely on the arc to actually help you out here. But the good point of it is that the gun does aim in very quickly on the enemy. So yes, that's one good factor in your favor, but it's still a bit of a handicap that you have to move the vehicle quite a lot if you're having to re-aim outside the arc, and it can be very easy for the enemy to move outside the arc whilst you're in battle. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And congratulations again to Deathnub for getting his first ace tanker in the Object 261. And of course the T92 in the previous video. Thanks for watching.